believe you also told us at times there was a little bit of micromanaging of expense accounts at the meetings that you didn't think was really the right way to go.
I remember one of my first board meetings. Mike Widener was the executive director at that time, and she came in to tell us that she wanted to be reimbursed for some expenses that she'd paid for out of her checking account or credit card. I don't think there were that much credit card back then, but she was running the society on a day-to-day basis out of her own pocket, and there was a 15-minute discussion on whether or not to reimburse her for expenses that were legitimately for the society. It was that much micromanagement. There was also everything from the date that invitations were to be put in the mail to the color of the paper to all of this minutia that the board dealt with at every meeting. Meetings would go on to late into the night because there was so much detail and micromanagement.
Was the mission of the society any different than it is now?
Much different. The whole social aspects of the society and concentration on fundraising was much bigger. I've also told the story about when I first became president, I went back and read through the constitutions of previous eras. And the very first constitution of the German Village Society contemplated the society being a real estate holding company. There was a whole couple pages in that constitution talking about how they were going to buy property, resell it, what the money could be used for, and how it was going to be used to further the development of German village preservation. So every year and probably in 10-year cycles, it seems as if the mission of the society has differed to some degree to the place where we are today, where I still say we are a civic association that is involved in the community to help ensure the longevity of our preservation efforts down here, as well as the uniqueness of our community.
So you retire from your position with the county, and shortly after that you become president of the German Village Society.
President. There was a month-long gap there. I retired in February, 2 months, and I became president in January. And I think my boss was glad to see me leave because I think there were more phone calls from German Village than there were business discussions in those first 2 months. But
So did you have any agenda of things you wanted to accomplish while you were president?
the big thing that we were trying to do and that I continue to work on is the organization of the society. The society is a business. It is a full-time business. It is a $1 million business. And I think it needs to be run with those kind of practices in mind. The Board of Trustees is a big picture organization. The work of the society needs to be conducted in the committees and from the professional help that we hire. And changing that whole culture and thought process has been what I hope we've accomplished over the years I've been involved.
And I think you told me that you're proud of the advancements you were able to make on that score during your
I think so.
presidency.
There have been much movement in the right direction. There's still a lot to do. And when you're dealing with a volunteer organization, we all have different points of view as to what we're doing, and so that mission development and annual big picture look is always really important in my mind because that sets the tone of what we're really all about down here.
Notwithstanding your retirement from your job with the county, you stayed active in politics.
Oh yes, I'm still involved in the Republican organization. I'm an officer in the party, and I am involved with a number of candidates. I do the business management side of political campaign committees, and as I say, as long as the legislature's in session, they will continue to give me more work to do because they keep changing the election laws, and that gives me things to do.
I believe you said to me that one of the things that you think is most important for the German Village Society to do, and you've been involved with, is to keep an eye on the city and make sure the city gives us a fair share of the benefits that we're entitled to down here, and keep them knowledgeable about what our mission is.
It's a continuing process. I don't think the city knows what to do with groups like the German Village Society, and so we have to keep educating the folks down there. Not only do we want our fair share of city services, we also have to make them understand that one size does not fit all in German Village. We need smaller trash receptacles because we have houses that have no place for those trash receptacles to go. We need special attention to our brick streets. Though the city no longer repairs brick streets, they contract that out, but it is still an important contract, and $30,000 or $40,000 a year does not repair brick streets. We have to continually educate our city council and the administration of the uniqueness of German Village and the contribution German Village makes to the city. There's a story the other day about a new big convention that's coming into town in 2007, and one of the comments was, now we have to figure out what they're going to do when they get here. Well, the number one tourist attraction destination in central Ohio is German Village. So the first thing folks ought to be doing is coming down here and talking to us, and for us to let them know what we have to offer down here.
Is the city always sensitive to our particular infrastructure, brick streets and that sort of thing?
They are once you explain it to them, but as you know, we've had such a turnover. Every time you get a new council member, every time you get a new mayor, they have to be re-educated, and that's one of the major missions, I think, of the German Village Society, is to keep our public officials aware of the significance of German Village to the city of Columbus. And ultimately, they're going to have to spend some money. Our streets are 150 years old, and they need to be maintained, and that's just one part of the infrastructure. Sewers and drains and all those other unattractive kinds of things are the things we have to continue to remind our city fathers that that's what and mothers that have to be continue to be maintained.
Back to Oktoberfest just for one moment. There's something I wanted to ask you about that. The society stopped running it in, I think, 2009.
Yes.
And what? Tell us how that came to be.
The cost and usefulness of Oktoberfest were a big issue every year. Yes, it was making money, but it took a lot of money, it took a lot of effort and a lot of resources to make it happen. With the economy downsizing and with Columbus losing a lot of its major businesses that provided the kind of sponsorship money that you need to make that event grow and profitable, we're also no longer here. Then we lost our site. And so we decided to reinvent the Oktoberfest and to look at whether or not it could be brought for the first time into German Village itself. We conducted a campaign to try to get the community to accept closing down 3rd Street and moving the Oktoberfest there. There was some resistance. We did eventually get the 80% of the property owners to agree to it, but by that time the support for an Oktoberfest had eroded in the board, and by one vote, as it happened, they decided to suspend, is the word that was used, the Oktoberfest for that year, and to regroup and see if we could do something else. And of course, by that time, once it ended, there was no going back. So,
and the Schmitz took it back.
And the Schmitz family came back in and decided to do what they wanted to do many years ago, which is take it up and make it a commercial venture instead of a 501c3 fundraising venture.
And at least as we sit here today, that still functions at the
They are still
fairgrounds.
functioning, and yes, and the funny part about that is Cox Concessions, which started the Oktoberfest, or was our administrator for the Oktoberfest, is now at the fairgrounds, and Charlie Cox and his family are who the Schmidt family is dealing with once again to run the Oktoberfest on the fairgrounds.
So the same characters.
The same cast of characters. It was, again, the very first one when they first took it back, was an old home week with all those folks up there too.
You took a short break from leadership role in the society, and then you came back and you're very active again. Tell me what you're looking to achieve in the future as we look forward from 12, 12, 12 here.
Well, don't hold me to everything, but again, I still think that the civic relations side of the society is the important part, and we need to keep making city folks aware of our significance, and I think there are a lot of things more to do in that area, and that's what I want to be involved with. This whole 3rd Street beautification restoration is really big, and it will set the tone for others. 3rd Street isn't the only street that needs to be restored, and so there's a lot more things to do.
Hopefully, somebody who sees this tape 10, 12 years from now, 3rd Street will have been refreshed.
That is the great hope. And it's a challenge to us, too, because we are a preservation community, and the terms and extent of that preservation versus modernization is a big challenge, too. And I think we all want to have a say in some of that. But you talk about 3rd Street being restored, and you'll get to 10 people, you'll get 10 different opinions of what that means. So it's going to be exciting in 10 years to see what restoration actually means in German Village.
Indeed. Bill, you've done so much with and for the society. You know, a lot of neighborhoods are historic and have old buildings in them. What to you makes German Village particularly special?
Well, as said with Oktoberfest, it's all about the people. It is just amazing to me at times that how people can move in, and 10 days later they're as passionate about our community and what it means to them as anyone who's been here for 40 years. The people keep it alive, the people keep it moving, the people keep reinventing the German Village community. I think that's amazing and that's exciting, and that's, I guess, why I'm still doing things.
Well, thank you so much for being with us today, and good luck in all you do with the society.
I hope we do succeed in all of those things. So thank you.
Thanks. All right.